Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're very welcome to the April Isolation Dallara F3 Championship round number 2 here at Barber Motorsports Park in the US. We had an action-packed round last time out in Spa-Francorchamps. Half the field DNF, so hopefully the guys have put themselves together for this one because it's going to be very, very hectic indeed. 41 cars joining us tonight. Alex Simpson on production, myself, Jack Canal, and Sam Fitzpatrick joining me in the box. So Barber Motorsports Park, Sam, it's a very tight and twisty circuit. It's going to be a massive challenge for the drivers.
Yeah, we couldn't go to somewhere much different to Spa last time out because the long straights around that place. If anything, these F3 cars feel more at home around a circuit like this. They can really use their nimbleness to get around these pretty long corners at Barber. It's a unique circuit, a little bit of elevation change. It wouldn't look too out of place in Europe, to be honest. So I'm sure these guys are going to enjoy this a lot, although unlike Spa, because not necessarily a lot of history for these guys, not a whole lot of experience necessarily.
Yeah, for sure. So Barber, a very up and down circuit. Elevation changes into turn 1. It drops away from you, then straight up a hill into turn 2. So it goes up and down and really unsettles the car. The big, large curbs that are ready to break the car in half almost if you hit them too hard. But we have a short 6-minute qualifying right now. And of course, if you're new to the April Isolation Championship, we have a lot of pro drivers from so many different forms of motorsport. And Sam, it's really interesting to see the guys from different forms of motorsport going up against each other in the same car on the same track.
It really was, and we had a chat with a couple of drivers post-race as well, and they revel in this challenge. I mean, it's totally unique, and it was interesting last time the karting drivers, in particular in qualifying, did very well. I don't know if that necessarily replicated into the race, but it really does allow these younger drivers to stick it to the more experienced guys, and I think that's what we're going to see today again. But it is pretty crazy to see this mixture of drivers all showing the same piece of tarmac.
So currently it is Martin Kodrich, who is currently fastest McLaren factory GT driver. Mohammed Ibrahim, he came second last week to Ramiz Azam in the race. The guys were inseparable for the entire thing. And then it is Chow Collette, third place man last time out. He's third again. And then we have Ed Jones, of course. Ed Jones is going to be familiar enough with this circuit, considering he used to drive IndyCar and is now a DTM driver. But then there's Jonathan Pull popping into second right there. James Pull, excuse me, popping into second place. Got a good top 5 finish last time out as well. But Martin Kodrich setting the pace a big 0.3 of a second faster than James Pull at the moment. And then Mohammed Ibrahim slots in behind 0.07 of a second. So they only get 2 laps to do it. Sasha Finestras pops into third place. Then Liam Lawson goes 5th. So there's a lot of different motorsports in that top 10. And we saw last week, Sam, that qualifying really didn't mean much, especially if you were in the top 5.
Yeah, as long as you are in the area where there isn't the crash, then qualifying doesn't matter a whole lot. Although the top 2 did manage to pull away, didn't they, of the rest of the field. It was Ibrahim and his rival, so they did manage to pull away from this field. So maybe qualifying a little bit important, and of course around this circuit it's going to be more important. Much more tricky to overtake around this track than it was at Spa. We're not going to quite see as much slipstream. Because you see these F3 cars, this corner, GT cars, massive challenge. Even prototypes, massive challenge. In these cars, easy flat out. So a few of these elements of the circuit, which normally are braking zones, if anything, are just going to be extensions of the track. And this one's another one as well, where you can overtake a lot more speed in these Formula 3 cars, which might increase the overtaking. Jaden Conwright coming around the final corner. This is his second lap time. He's sitting in 19th place on the grid. He improves, but it's not enough to gain any places. He matches Enzo Fittipaldi just in front of him, the Formula 3 driver. So no improvement there, as Haytinknell is out on circuit. However, this lap will not count. This is his third lap time that he is setting. In fact, I believe every single driver down the order has set their times already, as we're about to progress to the grid.
Yeah, and of course a different format for this. We've got 2 heat races for this one, so they're going to be grid is going to be split into 2, and then we have a total of 40 making it to the finals. So we'll just have a quick look and see. It looks like Sasha Finestras is going to be on pole for this one. The Ollie Caldwell. So there's a total of 38 for this one. We might just end up having 1 heat race in the end due to the size of the grid. But qualifying results: Martin Kodrich is on pole for that one, and then as you can see as well, even though there's a huge amount of drivers, there's also a huge amount of different motorsports lining up for this one. So it's a 2x2 start for this one. And Sam, turn one, that's going to be really tricky, especially with the downhill left.
Yeah, we've had some issues before at this track with this turn one. You have the 8s, I remember. It was quite a problem. That was a standing start, however. We have got a rolling start for this race, so hopefully it won't be as much of an issue. But kind of be weird, this mentality for the drivers. Everyone will progress to the final. 21 drivers, so everyone will get through to the final, but of course this will set the grid for the final. So you can kind of afford to have a crash potentially, not being the end of the world. However, if you have a bad first race here, then you're going to be starting way down the order in the final, which I believe is only 10 laps long, which is not long around a circuit like this. So you don't want to throw it all away, but at the same time, it's a pretty good opportunity to help your chances later on.
Yeah, so a quick 6-lap race for this one is Martin Kodrich, factory McLaren GT driver, alongside Sasha Fenestras, Ramiz Azam, of course, the winner last week. He's third on the grid. Liam Lawson, Formula 3 racer, he's fourth. Bart Horston is fifth, and Raoul Hyman, Joe Turney, Jaden Conroy, Harry Tinknell, and then Georgi Dimitrov in the top 10. So there's plenty of talent on this grid. And Martin Kodrich, he finished way down the order last week, but now he's on pole position for this heat race. And alongside a very experienced racer, Sasha Fenestras, Liam Lawson as well, another F3 guys. These guys will be in their element in these cars.
Yeah, we've seen the lap times that Max Verstappen has put in around this track. I remember seeing a lap from at Charlotte Motor Speedway, I think, and set the world record time, goes without saying, was absolutely lightning, and he really enjoys his Formula 3 cars. And if anything, I think for these F3 guys, they probably like this car more than anything. And whilst it may not give them a whole lot more pace, if you enjoy driving a car, you're going to put in those extra hours. It's going to give you a much more positive mindset, and so you are probably going to go faster anyway. So perhaps their real life experience won't help them, I think, but just their bigger for this car, I think, will really help them out.
Yeah, for sure. So 21 cars total in this one. So crucially, Ramiz Azam does not have his closest rival, Mohammed Ibrahim, in the same heat as him. So he is getting out of jail with that one. So the 2 separate heats and then straight into the finals. So the feature race will have a total of 40 cars. So 1 or 2 drivers actually won't make it. So there is going to be a little bit of fighting going on for this one. So if we look further down the order, just coming through the S's right now up the hill, Martin Kodrich will control the pace. The pace setter and Sasha Fenestras will have the outside line for turn 1, which is not ideal, especially with the nature of the camber of the circuit. So just about to come to the last corner, the safety car peels off onto the pit lane. It's very easy to miss that corner, go straight on into the pit lane. So don't be surprised to see that. But here we go. Martin Kodrich will control the pace now. Sasha Fenestras next to him. Ramiz Azam third, and Liam Lawson in the Red Bull car in fourth. Here we go for heat race 1, and a good start from Martin Kodrich. It's a good start from Ramiz Azam on the outside as well. Sasha Fenestras into second place, and Martin Kodrich now straight to the outside lines. They all file single file into turn 1. A little bit of 3 abreast action as they go to there. Ramiz Azam and Bart Horston makes his way past Liam Lawson for 4th place. Everything looks clean. They've all kept it sensible, and they continue on into turn number 4.
Yeah, so nice getaway for Kodrich. He's seemingly just far enough away to escape from the attack going into this next hairpin. Massive braking zone even for these Formula 3 cars. Oh, big off, and that was De Groot and Dimitrov and Sevelos as well, I believe, and maybe even Hyman as well gets involved in that one. They're still making contact. This new damage model wrecks these cars when contact occurs like that. And well, it's safe to say, if there is going to be anyone eliminated from this session, it's going to be one of those guys.
Yeah, there was a multiple 3-4 car pile-up right there, so unfortunate for those guys. But it was unfortunate, just a chain reaction with the amount of cars that are together on the track. It's always going to happen, especially on lap 1. We go back to the front though. We watched Sasha Fenestras, who's under a little bit of pressure now from Ramiz Azam behind him in 3rd place. Of course, the winner last week. So now these guys starting to form a bit of a getaway, and now we will really see what Martin Kodrich can really do in an F3 car. Of course, he's used to a factory GT McLaren. Sasha Fenestras an F3 driver. Ramiz Azam is a Lamborghini ST driver. Liam Lawson F3 driver. So there's a lot of different forms of motorsport right here. So that accident unfortunately took out Turney, De Groot, Ollie Caldwell, and Bortoletto, and looks like Enzo Mucci was also involved in that one. So down the hill they come, and it is still Sasha Finestras trying to follow. So it's going to be really interesting to see where Finestras might be able to pick a move off here, because as you mentioned earlier, it's extremely difficult to overtake here.
Yeah, and it seems like everyone's, to be fair, still in a chain of one another. There hasn't been a massive breakaway. You can see down to Ollie Behrman down in 8th place. He's been 6th place, by the way, Behrman. Chevelov, who I thought was involved in that crash at the start of the race, actually up 12 places, and Matt Greenwood up 10. Really, those 10 jars are the guys who are still running with completely clean cars, and nearly all of them are right together. But yeah, going to be tricky for Finestras to get past. Probably the hairpin is going to be the main opportunity for it. It's such a wide corner. It's downhill. That extends the braking area, which means that you can maybe do something different to your opponent ahead. Apart from that, it is going to be really tricky in this one because so many fast corners and so a whole lot of braking zones. And I think right now, Jaden Conwright is finding that issue. Hey, Tignor, who finished in the top 10 last time out as well, had a great drive through the order. Right now, kind of matching that result in this Heat 1.
Yeah, for sure. So Harry Tinknell just managing to get ahead of Jaden Conwright that time by. So Porsche Supercup driver now trying to follow Tinknell here as we ride just over his left-hand shoulder, and you get an idea of how up and down this circuit is. You can just see the corner dropping away from them in front. A really tricky area right here as they just surge in at full speed into a chicane, then a blind hairpin on the entry as well. Really tricky to get that braking right. Then obviously a bit of a short straight, then into the left and right, which is flat out in these cars. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, GT cars really struggle with this one. And Ollie Behrman now tucked in behind Jaden Conwright as well. You can just see him behind as Harry Tinknell now tries to catch up to Bart Horston up ahead.
Oh, and that's off by the race leader. Martin Kodrick is into the pit area, and the pole sitter, the race leader, and that is crucial places he's lost. He's down into 7th, might even fall down to 8th behind Ollie Behrman. Oh, that's terrible for Kodrick. Was there contact? I'm not 100% sure if there was. Massive pressure from just behind.
Let's have a look. Oh, it doesn't look like it from that angle, but it just looked like he lost the rear end. I don't think Finestra has actually hit him there. It just looked like pure pressure, pushing really hard. And we'll try and see if we can get an angle on it. So let's have a look now. Now we'll be able to see if Finestra's made contact.
Oh, netcode, I think.
Looked like it was netcode, yeah, netcode. Unfortunately, Martin Coldridge falls victim to that one, but it means Sasha Finestras is your new leader, Ramiza Zam in 2nd, and Liam Lawson in 3rd place. But that leaves Martin Coldridge down in 7th place, and Finestras has got a good gap now, and he's now doesn't have to worry from behind because Ramiza Zam is now embroiled in a battle, I should say, with Liam Lawson and Bart Horston, who's shown some good pace today.
They had an awful first sector on this lap, so they were pretty close, and they must just had to gone defensive, I can only imagine, Azam through the first couple of corners, and now these guys are 1 second behind. However, Azam really strong. You can check out the live timing, which will tell you all the intervals between these drivers. It's very useful stuff. That is in the description below. Just click on the link and then you'll be able to find that live timing. Down to 0.8 of a second now is the gap, so they lost 0.7 of a second through sector 1, but overall in the lap they only lost half a second, so they're 0.2 faster elsewhere pretty much. The gap's closing down, and once they get down to about 0.6, then all of a sudden you're back into the slipstream range, and well, gaining becomes even more easy.
Yeah, for sure. So Sasha Finestra, 0.7 of a second clear out front. Ramiza Zam is now having to watch his mirrors for Liam Lawson. We just saw in that lap Harry Tinknell, fastest lap of the race, so he's in 5th place, but they've only got a lap and a half left to run. So Harry Tinknell, he's not going to quite get there, the IMSA driver, but if these guys start battling up front, it could make it quite interesting, as Ramiza Zam 0.6 behind, and then Liam Lawson right on his tail, as you can see in the Red Bull car. Bart Horston 4th. Harry Tinknell just breaking away from Jaden Conwright there. Back to Ramiza Zam, championship leader, as they come through the last corner and begin the final lap. And let's see if Finestras can hold on. Remember, there's a second heat race to come as well, so it's all important where you finish in the heats too. So Ramiz Azam embroiled in the championship battle with Mohamed Ibrahim, of course. White flag waves. Finestras from Azam, from Lawson, Bart Horston, Harry Tinknell, Jaden Conrad, Martin Codridge, of course, after the net code. Ollie Behrman, Jorge Cavalos, and Matt Greenwood are your top 10. And it looks like one driver will not make it through the heats. And classified as 21st, Bortoletto doesn't look like he's going to actually make the feature. So for now, it is still Finestras from Azam, and now Bart Horston looking like he's starting to challenge Liam Lawson.
Bortoletto didn't take the start, it seems. However, I have just seen him connect to the session. So keep an eye out on him, perhaps rejoining this race. They do get a faster pair to the drive, so if they did get involved in a crash on the opening lap, as we saw a few did, they can tow back to the pits and get some of that repaired and get back out on circuit as if nothing ever happened. You're absolutely right, Horston, the British F3 driver, pretty close. Finestras was losing time. It seems like that around this part of the circuit, this kind of final third of the track. We have 4 sectors around this circuit, by the way. It seems like Azam does close in a bit. As, in fact, this is going to be the checker flag for Finestras already.
Yeah, Finestras wins Heat 1. That's his first heat race win. Ramiz Azam finishes second. Liam Lawson holds on for third place. Bart Horston is fourth. Harry Tinknell fifth. Jaden Conrad finishes sixth. Very close between himself and Martin Codridge across the line. Ollie Behrman, Jorge Cavalos, and then Hyman will finish in 10th place. Raoul Hyman, South African, will finish in 10th. Then it's Matt Greenwood. Then Caleb Nagatsua, Georgi Dimitrov in 13th. Then after him, we will have Matthew Payne, Billy Fraser, Joe Turney, and then De Groot, Mucci, and Jackson Walls will be the last classified runner in this one, especially after the massive pileup we had earlier. But Billy Fraser, he's not going to be too pleased with that. He had a great run out last time in Spa, but obviously Barber just not suiting him at all.
Yeah, he started down in 15th place, but something could happen later on in the final race, but of course that means that he's going to be starting in about 30th place for the final. By the way, Bortoletto then didn't get to the track soon enough, so he will be the one elimination, I believe, and everyone else they will go through. So an opportunity for the likes of Caldwell and Wells to improve, as already we are gridding up for heat number 2.
Yeah, so heat 1 results, Sasha Finestras, and then will be your winner, and Liam Lawson third. And we get ready for this next one. There's some serious names in this one. Mohamed Ibrahim, the second place man from last week. Ed Jones, Enzo Fittipaldi, Sebastian Montoya. There's some serious talent in this one. So we have another rolling start to come, I believe. Yes, indeed. So we'll have a look at the grid. As Mohamed Ibrahim is going to be your pole sitter. Alfred Nilsson, we spoke to him last week. He will start second. Ed Jones, James Pull and Ed Jones. Then Chiao Colette, Jonathan Hoggard, Indy Donche, Cameron Dast. Then Callum Williams, Enzo Fittipaldi is 10th. Dan Wells 11th. Gustavo Menendez behind him. Then Casper Stuka, Dev Gore, Lucas Peterson, Nick Yellowly, Kimi Antonelli, Cian Donaldson, Ido Cohen. And down the back is Sebastian Montoya, who Sam we saw flipping down the Kemmel Straight last week. So he's obviously looking to do a bit better this.
Yeah, that was a big one, wasn't it? That was absolutely huge. I think he was running as well under his dad's profile now, so he's gone and bought himself a subscription to iRacing. So good for him for doing that. Expect a strong drive from him. I think he might well get back into the top 10 by the end of this race, because he was looking pretty quick to be fair last time out. Of course, it didn't quite happen for him on that last lap, having a huge incident going into Lake Coon. But Ibrahim from the pole position, he was ever so collected last time out at Spa. And these front runners just need to get through this race unscathed. Last time we saw, I think it was about 5th place, where it all kind of kicked off with many of the drivers, so watch out for that region. Really anywhere in that midfield could get involved in a crash. And last time, turn 1 was actually absolutely fine, but it was then the hairpin where we saw some troubles.
Yeah, for sure. So Mohamed Ibrahim leads away. Alfred Nilsson second. Good qualifying from him. Obviously, he got caught up in a bit of an unfortunate incident, not of his own fault last week, so he's going to be looking to do a bit better this week. And Cameron Dass and Sebastian Montoya looking to recover from their massive accident last week. Ed Jones in fourth. He looked quick in practice as well. James Pole nicely in there in third place. And then Chow Colette, podium finisher last week as well. He's got some pace in him. Jonathan Hoggard, Indy Donche finished further down the order last week, but all nicely up the grid in this second heat race as they come closer to the beginning of their second heat race. We come through the final corner. Mohammed Ibrahim will let the pace car peel off to the left-hand side here, and we will go green very shortly. Mohammed will control the pace. Alfred Nilsson's got to be watching him. How early is Mohammed Ibrahim going to go? We wait and see as they all go 2 by 2 through here. Nilsson's a little bit ahead. Ibrahim's caught him napping as he goes away, and the green flag is going to wave for heat race 2. Alfred Nilsson second. James Pole is third. Ed Jones slots into fourth place, and already Alfred Nilsson's getting challenged by James Pole through turn 1. He goes through to second place. Ed Jones looking on the outside now. They run through turn 2, but Mohammed Ibrahim's got the gap. Ed Jones around the outside of Alfred Nilsson around turn 2. Lovely move. Ed Jones, he moves to third place. Now Jonathan Hoggard's also going to get Alfred Nilsson. So Nilsson with a terrible exit out of the last corner and a big shut at the door from Jonathan Hoggard. Alfred Nilsson really didn't go well for him. He just looked like he just was caught napping a bit there.
Yeah, and then just got put offline. There must have been contact between him and Jones going through turn 2. The two of them were ever so close to one another. I think he's trying to repel straight away, trying to get back past Hoggard, but that's not going to work down the hill, and they're just losing each other a lot of time. Not the instance that we saw in race 1. Dan Wells, I don't think he took the start, did Dan Wells? So, of course, one elimination in these heat races. So it looks like he is probably going to be the culprit. Oh, it's off the circuit. 2 drivers off the circuit, and that is Cohen and Antonelli have gone off the track, and I think Yellowly as well must have been involved in something. Seb Montoya will be happy about that. He gains a few places very easily.
Yeah, so Mohammed Ibrahim with a comfortable lead now, with James Pole with a great getaway. He's now second. Ed Jones is third. Jonathan Hoggard is fourth.
Off. And it's Antonelli again and Cohen. Sorry, not Cohen. Maybe it was Cohen. I'm not quite sure, but 2 more drivers. Fun.
Well, we saw so much happening in the early part of the lap last time, but this time it's the latter half of the lap. Let's have a look at this one again.
They've got just tips a wheel onto the grass, and a completely separate incident further behind, just tapping that wall. He might be able to continue without having to take a fast repair. Gore, who was pretty stable, I think I remember last time. I think he got a top 20 in the end, maybe even top 15. But that is an unforced error right there.
Yeah, unfortunate. James Pole now 9/10 of a second. Mohammed Ibrahim's got a nice gap now, and he's got some severe pressure from Ed Jones behind him, a DTM driver. Jonathan Hoggard just now got Alfred Nilsson behind him. Chow Colette, Cameron Dass is up to 7th place. Indy Donche, Callum Williams, Enzo Fittipaldi remains in 10th place. Casper Stuka, Gustavo Menendez, Seb Montoya is 13th. Cian Donaldson, then Gore, of course, we saw spinning around. Peterson, and then Yellowly, then Kimi Antonelli, and Ido Cohen, of course, came together. So they are unfortunately probably not going to take any further part. But now, Mohammed Ibrahim with the fastest lap of the race, 1:15.7, 3/10 of a second. Quicker than James Pole. Ed Jones sort of matching the pace right here, as we're already halfway through this heat race. But Mohammed Ibrahim, barring any mistakes, I think he's already got it in the bag.
Yeah, breaking the draft. Nice driving from Ibrahim. It is a circuit they can make mistakes. The curves very deadening to these Formula 3 cars. But I don't think he will be susceptible to mistakes such as that. It's what's going to go on behind, which is more important, I think. The big gainers, Sebastian Montoya, we said they might get up into the top 10. He's up into 14th place now. Gustavo 12 for Gustavo Menezes in 12th place, the LMP1 driver from the FIA World Endurance Championship. As a pull is coming under increasing pressure, and that chicane, usually it's so tricky to follow. In these cars, just easy, flat out, stay in the draft, and pull is off the circuit again, taking those curves. But fortunately for him, Jones is off the track as well. That elevation for that chicane, I mean, normally if that was flat, that would still be a tricky corner. The elevation just makes it so much more difficult, and the exit tightens up as well, and that's what you saw Jones really suffer from on that occasion.
Yeah, and the mistakes from both of them. James Pull a little bit wide, Ed Jones a little bit wide, has brought Jonathan Hoggard into this one as well. He's right on the back of the train now as we look back at Kasper Stuka, who is involved in a battle with Callan Williams up the inside. He goes for 10th place and he goes through. Nice move from the young Carter there. And he goes through to 10th place now, chasing after Enzo Fittipaldi. And now, well, Callan Williams is not having any of that. He's trying to come back around the outside of the hairpin down here. Can he outbrake him through here? Karting line taken, of course, now looking for the cutback. Callan Williams up underneath him, maybe trying to get the cutback. He has got that cutback, but it's going to be the outside line for the S's down at the end of the straight here. They're almost touching wheels as they come down. He gives him the squeeze to the inside, but surely Callan's got to yield. No, he doesn't yield, but he has to on the entry to the next part of the circuit. And a good move from Kasper Stuka secures him into 10th place now.
I remember when Stuka was at the top of 3 practice at Spa, and we were expecting him to go take a pole position and win the race. Didn't quite turn out that way in Spa, and he seemed to struggle as well in qualifying today. He's under pressure again, stays ahead. It's tricky to go around the outside at that corner. But of course, all this fighting, as I always say, leads to a lot of time, was probably worth it, to be fair, for Kasper though to get past, because now he might be set free to chase after the drivers ahead. Such a short race, they've only got 2 more laps remaining, and it's side by side, I believe, for 2nd place. James Pull just defending from Ed Jones, and now Hogarth is all over the back of these guys. Nielsen, of course, he started in 2nd place, in 5th, and then Colette, who was leading a little bit of a train earlier on, he has now joined the back of this train and side by side for 2nd place. Whoa, Paul close the gap, and now he spins out, and that's 3rd and 4th and 5th, all hitting one another, and there might be more incidents as well. Oh, such a shame, and that is going to cost these guys so badly. You don't get many points for the heat races, and that's just going to kill their opportunities for the grid in the final.
What a shame. James Pull, he just got on the power too early. Simple say, get a little bit of a nudge from, didn't get a nudge from Ed Jones, and then just on the exit, lost it. Ed Jones had nowhere to go. Jonathan Hoggard, Charles Colette drives through it, and Indy Donche, I think, managed to get through it as well. Alfred Nilsson got through it, but unfortunately, James Pull, so just a small error. The pressure from Ed Jones got to him, but it's put Chow Colette to 2nd now. Jonathan Hoggard is 3rd. Alfred Nilsson is now 4th. Indy Donche and Cameron Dass are now 5th and 6th, as Kasper Stuka spun it as well in the last corner. James Pull is off the road as well, so Kasper Stuka, we were talking about how good of a drive he was already having, and it's already gone from bad to worse for him, and now James Pull and Ed Jones are back together on track.
Well, that's completely messed up the order. It's going to be a really interesting grid for the final, which is going up in just a couple of minutes time, because we are on the final lap of this race. Colette was at the rear of that train, remember, and it was the perfect place to be. Just had enough time to react to everything going on ahead of him. And look at this, Dante as well, up into 5th place from 8th previously. Ibrahim in a different postcode at the moment. He's miles up the road, and it's going to be a comfortable race win for him.
Yeah, he'll be thanking the guys for battling behind him. He had clear track all race long, and of course Alfred Nilsson with his poor getaway as well also helped in that regard. But he's coming up towards the last couple of corners now. Mohammed Ibrahim to take a heat race win and secure his spot up the front of the grid as he rounds the last corner here to cross the line. Mohammed Ibrahim, Heat 2 race winner, and we head to the feature race very shortly. Chow Colette driving through all the chaos. He will come in 2nd place, and Jonathan Hoggard returns in 3rd. Alfred Nilsson 4th. Indy Donche, Cameron Dass, Enzo Fittipaldi, Callan Williams, Gustavo Menezes, and Cian Donaldson are your top 10. Ed Jones ended up in 11th. Seb Montoya 12th, and James Pull, he will be gutted with that one. Just a small error. Got on the power too early. He finishes 13th. And then we have Peterson and Kasper Stuka. After driving so well up to the top 10, he finishes in 15th place. So unfortunate for the young Carter there, but it looks like it's going to be Mohammed Ibrahim and Sasha Finestres on the front row for the feature. That's going to be interesting. Yeah,
that's what we want to see. Finestres kind of jeopardised his opportunities last time out at Spa with a spin on the opening lap at Les Combes. It worked for that. Who knows where he would have finished? He could have well challenged for the race win. So this is his opportunity to take it to Ibrahim. He's going to be looking pretty good in the championship if they can, survive the final. It can change so quickly, as we saw in that in both races. That turn 4 down the hill into the hairpin can prove so many problems for drivers.
Yeah. So Now we're going to have the feature race very shortly. 22 minutes, 12 lap race. So we will be heading into it very shortly, but we think it's going to be Finestras and Ibrahim on the front row. Chow Colette, of course, will be on the back row with Liam Lawson on the the third row, excuse me. So there we have the grid for the feature. We believe Sasha Finestras and Mohamed Ibrahim, Ramiz Azam, Chow Colette, then Liam Lawson, Jonathan Hoggard, Bart Horston, then Alfred Nilsson, Harry Tinknell, Indy Donche, then Jaden Conright, Cameron Dass, Martin Coldridge all the way down in the 13th, and then Enzo Fittipaldi, Ollie Berryman, Callan Williams, Jorge Cavalos, Gustavo Menezes, then Raul Hyman, Keane Donaldson, Matt Greenwood, and Ed Jones all the way down in 22nd, and then Nagatsua and Seb Montoya in 24th on the grid. So there's a lot on the line here, but ultimately it's Finestras who has the inside line for turn 1, which is so crucial. And we get underway now very shortly as Ibrahim, I think, is eager to go as he jumps the line a little bit there, waiting for the safety car to get going, pulling up alongside and telling them to get a move on. So Ibrahim from Finestras, Chow Colette 3rd, Ramiz Azam in 4th, Liam Lawson 5th, and then Jonathan Hoggard, Bart Horst, and Alfred Nilsson, Indy Donche, and Cameron Dass will be top 10 for this one. Of course, championship points on offer. So there's a lot to happen in this one. And really, we don't really know of the two who's going to really pull away from this, Mohamed Ibrahim or Sasha Finestras, because both of them are so evenly matched on pace. But keep an eye, Sam, maybe on Chow Colette behind, because he's been looking pacey, and if there's been trouble, he tends to drive through it.
Yeah, well, he's already shown that skill already, and it's quite a useful skill to attain. Ramaz Azam as well, of course, last time out, won in 4th place. Needs to make sure he keeps that 4th place. I think with the starting on the even side of the grid, your chance of gaining a place are pretty low, because of course everyone on the odd side of the grid will probably have a better view of the pole sit, so they should be able to get a better launch. Azam just needs to keep himself in play. Hopefully for Azam, Colette will have good pace and be able to keep up with the top 3, but really hoping that we have a nice battle here. Much longer race, double the length, 12 laps, which should accumulate to about 15 minutes, I believe, so still pretty quick for these drivers. Hopefully we get a four-way battle, because there's so many drivers up and down the field who have a decent chance at winning out there. And of course, watch out as well for many drivers further down the order who got involved in that race 1 crash on the opening lap. They are going to be making their way up through the order very quick, and I'm sure we'll be making some pretty bold moves in the opening couple of corners.
Yeah, keep an eye out for Ed Jones. Keep an eye out for Martin Coldridge. Remember, he was the outright pace setter in qualifying, so he was the quickest of the lot. James Pohl all the way down 24th as well. After his spin, he's got some pace. Alfred Nilsson, of course, had his terrible start, which put him so far down the order in that one. Enzo Fittipaldi in 14th, sorry, so he's alongside Martin Coldridge on that part of the circuit. So it's going to be interesting to see if Mohamed Ibrahim can drive away, or if Sasha Finestras is going to put him up a fight. There's Raul Hyman, another Formula 3 driver, down in 20th, as the field gets backed up by Sasha Finestras, the Super GT, Super Formula driver. Here we go for the feature race, round 2 of the April Isolation Dallara F3 Championship. Sasha Finestras goes immediately, and it's a poor start from Mohamed Ibrahim, and as Ramiz Azam goes straight through on the inside line. Liam Lawson follows him through in 4th, blazes the head towards turn. It's Finestras from Ramiz Azam, who goes up the inside. Liam Lawson follows through on the inside line, so it's a poor start from Ibrahim. He didn't quite catch it on the back of Sasha Finestras. Liam Lawson trying to go around the outside for this next part of the circuit. He gets run off the road by Mohamed Ibrahim. Into the wall goes Liam Lawson. Can he keep it going? He keeps his foot in and keeps it going. Just a small bit of tire-on-tire contact, but a poor start from Ibrahim. Sasha Finestras leads, Ramiz Azam second.
And there was an incident as well at turn 2 which wiped out many drivers. James Poole was involved in that one. Wells and Daz, Nakatoa, loads of drivers basically were involved in that one, but most of the front runners getting through unscathed. But yeah, massive shame right there for Lawson. It looked like he's got a pretty good start, but in the end has just fallen backwards. Get that Finestras has got out in the lead, 0.6 of a second, so as I'm just staying within draft range, which is where he wants to be, and we should have a tasty race on our hands now. As off the circuit, it's the second place man, Ramez Azam. Oh dear, well, I was just bigging him up there. He got a brilliant start. And look at that, he's even spun off the track as well. And this is crucial championship points ebbing away from him. And, well, as long as nothing happens to Ibrahim, I think we're going to have a change for the lead in the championship after this round.
Yeah, Ramiza Zama, a rare mistake from him. He was so composed last time, but just run off onto the grass and then drops it. So unfortunate, a small error. But that means, of course, that Mohammed Ibrahim is ahead of him now, on track and now in the championship. But after all that, Bart Horston has drove through to third place. So Charles Colette has lost that. So Bart Horston with a fabulous getaway, up 4 positions from where he started. He's now third. So it is super formula from Rotax Karting, from BRDC British Formula 3. So there's lots in that top 10, in that top 3 as well. So in the background, a little bit of a look from Enzo Fittipaldi on Martin Coldridge. Martin Coldridge has had a good getaway. Both of these two started side by side on the grid. So Coldridge through on Enzo Fittipaldi, and Liam Lawson is trying to recover. So it's going to be interesting to see the two F3 racers going at it here. Liam Lawson versus Enzo Fittipaldi. Oh, he's on the grass as they try to fight it out here. Fittipaldi firmly closing the door in Liam Lawson's face. Really does not want to let him through there.
No, I wonder if these guys have raced on the proper circuit before. It certainly looks like there's some rivalry, and that was proper contact, and Fittipaldi goes spinning off.
A punt in the rear from Liam Lawson that time, and that puts Enzo Fittipaldi around, and he is now down in 15th place. So himself and Azam have ended up in the same piece, 14th and 15th.
Colette's gone off at turn 1 from 4th place.
So many drivers are making so many errors. Chao Colette is now victim of that one. The man who we were hoping to drive through all the chaos has now spun. So it was just an unfortunate little error from him. Here we go. So he comes through turn number 1.
Oh, too much
curb. Yeah, just got loose on the curb. And then a big moment. Jonathan Hogarth was so lucky to get away with that one. He must have his life flash before his eyes right there.
Definitely, and that's going to be loads of floor damage. It's going to be down on speed to the end of the race. Not so much front wing damage, at least you could see. And I'm surprised that the car didn't disintegrate, to be fair, on that instance. I'm sure if he was driving the Skip Barber, he would have suffered a far worse fate than that. But this field is thinning out now. Top 3, though, still pretty close. Horston, who we didn't really speak a whole lot in his heat. He must have been he was in Heat 2, of course, was Horston. Apologies, Heat 1. Finished in 4th position on that occasion, but had a pretty quiet race in this race, so he is putting in some superb lap times, matching the race leader on that last tour.
Mohammed Himmer, a tenth of a second quicker that time. Jonathan Hogarth now 4th, Alfred Nilsson 5th. But a good drive so far from Martin Coldridge from 14th. He's up to 8th now. Ollie Behrman as well following him. Capitalising on all these mistakes, as I think Liam Lawson, as we were talking about, just had to look up the inside of Martin Coldridge. Didn't quite work out. He's still stuck behind him. But now that's just Billy Fraser getting lapped, I think, there. Getting involved in that lap one instant. Though it's still Finestras from Mohammed Ibrahim, as we look at Liam Lawson now trying to get past Martin Coldridge, who had such a fantastic qualifying. Lawson's already been involved in 2 incidents already, and there's a little bit of damage on the left-hand side of his front wing after contact with Enzo Fittipaldi. There's a little bit of smoke here. Here comes Liam Lawson around the outside. He's trying to find some space. Can't quite get it there as they run through the S's. Nothing doing right there. Up the hill they come toward the last couple of corners. Lawson looking for any opportunity here. Towards the last corner they'll come now. But he's definitely going to have to wait a little while longer. Going to have to wait for the hairpin further up. As Jaden Conroy, now on the back of Harry Tinknell up ahead, and Alfred Nilsson challenging Jonathan Hogarth up ahead. So there's still plenty going on in this race as these guys try to fight it out for track space.
Yeah, Tinknell, he's had a solid race like he had at Spa, didn't he? Finishing in 8th place, I believe, on that occasion. And once again, everything's going on around him, but he's kind of just staying in that solid position. And that's the way that you accumulate championship points. So nice challenge from the IMSA driver at the moment, but you're absolutely right, he's got Conrad all over the back of him at the moment. Out in the lead, by the way, Finestras pulls out half second. That's nowhere. Was a mistake from Ibrahim, but also a superb lap from Finestras. Fastest lap of the race, and 1.2 seconds with 7 laps to go after this one around a short circuit. That might just be enough for Finestras as long as he remains error-free. So being a perfect drive from him, whilst everyone else is making mistakes, he is just banging in these mid-15s, and that's all he needs to take the second round of the championship.
And I think there's been another problem for Liam Lawson further down again. So Lawson's been in... I think it was obviously contact with Martin Koldrich, but now that Liam Lawson is totally out of this race, so it's just been a terrible day for him. But then look at that, Mohammed Ibrahim responding with fastest lap of the race. This is going to get really intriguing. 1:15.2 for Mohammed Ibrahim, and about 0.4 of a second quicker than the race leader. Bart Horston matching them up behind them as well. So let's see if we can see what happened to Liam Lawson right here.
Oh, that was ambitious. That's a quick corner, and then coming back on as well, and they've both lost tyres, and I'm not sure if that other driver did lose a tyre, actually. It seemed to magically pop back on, but great shame for those couple of drivers.
Yeah, unfortunate for them. Jaden Conrad falling away from Harry Tinknell now, as Tinknell attempts to close up to Alfred Nilsson up ahead of him. But the gap up front is down to 0.9 of a second. So they're closing up slowly but surely as the race enters the halfway point. Lap 6 of 12 as we go back to Enzo Mucci, who's just been overtaken by Cameron Dass for 16th place. So they're trying to recover a little bit. Enzo, of course, the organizer of this event, and now trying to chase down Cameron Dass. Let's see if we can see the move that Cameron made.
Yep, much wider line at turn 4. I think he had a little bit more acceleration and managed to get past at the right-hander.
Yep, nicely done from Cameron Dass, Formula 3 racer as well, and gets it done on Enzo. As now we go back to Martin Koldrich, who is on the back of Enzo Fittipaldi, of course, who got turned around by Liam Lawson earlier. So Koldrich having a little think about it on the outside line down towards the hairpin here. They've also got Cian Donaldson right behind them, looking for the undercut for Donaldson there. Sorry, this is Koldrich trying to keep Cian Donaldson and Kasper Stuka behind him. The Fittipaldi's a little bit further up the road. So Cian Donaldson looking on Koldrich up the inside. I think he's just pulled off and let them through there. Is that going to be a DNF for Koldrich? It is. So Koldrich is out of this race after qualifying on pole in heat race 1. It's just been a terrible day overall.
Yeah, what could have been for him? That was weird as well. Had a little bit of damage on the front wing, but to stay back to the pits, you think you just want to limp it round to the pits and then get a faster pair. That would certainly be the fastest way to do it. Even with the pace that he had, I think he could have completed the race, but not happening for him. As you see, another driver just coming out of the pits. That may have been a De Groot or Fraser, perhaps, who was just exiting the pits on that occasion after fixing that damage. But out in the lead, 1.1 seconds it is now. That's at 1/100th of a second between Finestras and Ibrahim. They're being the fastest two drivers on track throughout the event. I'm just seeing Colette getting pretty close to them on that last lap, but the top two are still faster. But Ibrahim needs something spectacular, or he needs a mistake from the driver ahead if he's going to get close enough, because we're running out of laps, are coming into a little bit of traffic, who have so far, I will say, been extremely generous, braking offline and letting these drivers pass, but that could change very easily.
Yeah, so I think a mistake from Ibrahim that lap, because he dropped 0.2 in the kind of the first hairpin. So Finestras gaining time on him little by little, and it's certainly going to be a faster lap from Finestras this time. He's got a little bit of a tow as well from the lapped car ahead. So as they cross the line, we're right on board with Mohammed Ibrahim as he chases down Sasha Finestras. Watch the lap times this time. Come across the line, 1:15.30 for Finestras and 15.39 for Ibrahim. So they're virtually evenly matched as the lap car gets out of the way of Finestras there. And now, let's see if he's as obliging to Ibrahim here. It could be useful for Ibrahim here to get the toe of the lap car up ahead to run down to the first hairpin and towards the S's at the end of this next section right here. Lap car gets well out of the way and doesn't involve himself in that one, but I don't think Mohammed Ibrahim has got enough in the tank to catch Finestras at this late stage.
No, I don't think it's going to happen for him. Taking a very tight line as well was Ibrahim. I wonder if still that lap car was alongside him, and that's going to cost him losing time. That's 1/4 of a second on this lap so far, so it's not happening for him at the moment. Ollie Behrman, by the way, just saying the fastest second sector already once, so he must have nailed a couple of corners right there. The top 5 all looking like they're going to stay the same. Harry Ticknell still under pressure from Conwright currently, and then it's Behrman who just set a vacant second sector, and Azam as well, trying to come back. Currently in 11th place is the Canadian race 1 winner, of course, or round 1 winner, and he is going onto the back of Callan Williams at the moment.
Yeah, so I think Ibrahim is possibly thinking as well that he's going to gain the lead in the championship anyway if he holds on to the place where he is, because Ramiz Azam is down in 11th place, so Ibrahim can keep the consistent results going, although he was the slowest out of the top 3 that time in a 15.5. Bart Horston a little bit quicker than him behind on a 15.3, who's just behind him there. Now we go back to Harry Tinknell, who's 0.6 of a second off of the back of Alfred Nilsson, and Cian Donaldson involved in the battle with Kasper Stuka, who I think has just got past him. So Stuka goes through, and that will put Donaldson behind him. And now let's see, I think he's a ways off of Enzo Fittipaldi, who is nearly 5 or 6 seconds clear of him up the road. So again, not the best rounds for Stuka, but there we go. And now we go back to Callan Williams, who's having to try and fend off Ramiz Azam.
Yeah, considering that Stuka didn't seem to have a great qualifying, and then he didn't have a great heat race either, you can be quite pleased with this final drive. It's been a very nice drive from Stuka to get back up into 13th place, the highest gainer of anyone in the top 20 places. So congrats to him for getting some points on the board, as Azam certainly faster than Williams on that last lap. Was actually slower, half a tenth of a second slower, but I think that was just because he was basically stuck behind and hasn't been able to find a way past so far. Also, that's side by side just with back markers further ahead, so we don't take too much notice of that, as a little bit of turbulent air in these cars, not as much as we see in the Formula 3.5 that we see on a Saturday evening, but it's still a little bit effective around these mega long corners. I mean, really up there with Barcelona. Some of these corners, particularly that turn to almost 180 degrees. Azam almost within passing range. You can see that big braking area into the turn 4 hairpin, but apart from that on this lap, you've got to really muscle your way past if you're going to have a chance.
Yeah, for sure. So just on that lap, interestingly enough, as Ramiz Azam gets into the back of Callan Williams on the braking zone. So unfortunate for him there, just mistimed his braking. I think he was trying to wait up for Callan Williams as well. I think he knows that was his mistake, but it's been a terrible day for Ramiz Azam. Enzo Fittipaldi goes through on the inside, and they end up going off the road as well. It's messy stuff right there. But Enzo trying to make his way through, but just a mistiming of braking from him there. As the white flag is waving, by the way, so we're on the final lap, and it is still Sasha Fenestres from Mohamed Ibrahim, and the top 3 all set 1:15.2s that time. So close, so evenly matched. But Fenestres has been untouchable up front. He's led every single lap of this race, and Mohamed Ibrahim has not really had an answer for him. He's tried everything, but Fenestres completely in control. The maturity of Super Formula coming through right here, and on his way to his first race win.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought that Ibrahim or Azam was going to be able to overhaul Fenestres, despite the fact that Fenestres had pole position, but he's been superb today, and maybe showing the pace that he could have delivered if he'd had a clean Spa round as well. Certainly going to be himself back into championship contention with this drive. Staying a little bit further back as well, Colette almost getting past Behrman, is going to be close for 8th place, so keep an eye out for that in a moment. But out in the lead, it's all looking pretty comfortable. 1.7 seconds to go.
Sasha Fenestres on his way round the final corner. The checkered flag waves, and it's a first feature race win for Sasha Fenestres. Comes across the line to take the checkered flag. Mohamed Ibrahim, his second place in the feature race in a row. 2 and a 1, and a fastest lap as well from Sasha Fenestres to round it off. Bart Horston gets a podium in 3rd place. Jonathan Hoggar with a great 4th place. Alfred Nilsson recovers to a top 5. Harry Tinknell, then Jaden Conroy. Ollie Behrman manages to keep Chow Colette behind him, and Ramiz Azam will finish in 10th place. Enzo Fittipaldi, then Kasper Stuka. Cian Donaldson behind Cameron Das. Callan Williams, after getting sent around by Azam right there, and is now going to cross the line in 15th. Enzo Mucci 16th, Georgi Dimitrov behind him in 17th place, and Ollie Caldwell in 18th. And a number of DNFs from this race, but Ollie Caldwell I think will be the last classified finisher on the lead lap right here to finish this race. But I mean, not quite as action-packed as Spa, that one, but a great drive from Sasha Fenestres.
Yeah, arguably as good as what we saw in terms of the race winner last time out with Sam winning at Spa. That was under pressure race. This time, Fenestres, with all that was going on in the first couple of laps, I think he knew what he had to do to win. But I think he was the fastest driver anyway on that last lap, posting the fastest lap of the race. Just shows his confidence as well. Often drivers will back off on that last lap, thinking, I don't want to make a mistake. I think that's what Ibrahim as well did. In second place, he set quite a slow final lap. Meanwhile, Fenestres, so much confidence in himself, decided to just bang in another purple that time. And, well, at least he's got that accolade to his name as well, along with a couple of others today.
Yeah, for sure. So just a quick rundown of the final order. Sasha Fenestres started from pole, finishes first. Mohamed Ibrahim, second on the grid, finishes second. Bart Horston gets his first podium in the series. Jonathan Hoggard finishes fourth. Then it's Jaden Conrad. And then Ollie Behrman, Alfred Nilsson, followed by Chow Colette. And then Ramiz Azam in 10th. Then Enzo Fittipaldi outside the top 10. Kasper Stuka, Kian Donaldson, Cameron Das, Callan Williams, Enzo Mucci, Georgie Dimitrov, Ollie Caldwell, then Billy Fraser, Matt Greenwood, De Groot, then Jorge Cavalos and Nicky Yellowly, with then Lucas Peterson classified as 24th in this race. So it was kind of a pole to win for Fenestres, and again, another second place for Mohamed Ibrahim should secure him a healthy championship lead now.
Yep, and that's what you want at this point in the championship. And it seems like we've seen quite a different kind of pecking order between the first two races, but the fact that Ibrahim has been in second place both rounds, that's going to give him a lot of confidence. It's going to give him the confidence that he knows he can potentially finish every round of this championship on the podium, and if he does that, I think the championship is heading his way. But no doubt he's got some stiff competition in this championship.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we're just going to have a quick few interviews now, because I believe we have Alfred Nilsson waiting for us in the interview waiting box. We spoke to him last week. So let's drag him in and see what he thought of his race. Alfred Nilsson, welcome to the comments box once again. Fifth place in the feature race. You must be quite happy with that one.
Yeah, for sure it was a much better run than I had in Spa. A bit more clean this time around. So yeah, I'm surely very happy with that one.
So talk to us about that start in the heat race, because it just looked like he didn't quite get off the line well.
Yeah, I was trying at the formation lap to get as much heat in the tires as possible. But when I came down to first corner, I felt like I had a little bit cold tires, and yeah, I dropped back a few positions there. But yeah, managed to keep it clean and then take them in the feature race.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. So, Sam, have you got anything for this man right here, or have you not nipped off?
No, still absolutely here.
Brilliant.
No, I mean, congrats, absolutely, Alfie. I mean, how did you find the racing at Barber? We saw overtaking was tricky. Did you like the challenge out there today?
Well, I think this track fits me quite good. But yeah, as you said, overtaking is a difficult part here because there is no like really braking zone, and everything runs quite fast and flowing. So overtaking is a difficult thing here. But yeah, I managed to keep it quite good, and yeah, I like Barber.
Absolutely. Are you gonna seek out a few more races around this track, perhaps, because it's pretty underused for a nice circuit?
Yeah, I mean, it's a circuit with many things. You know, you have fast corners. You also have some slow ones, and then some bank corners and so on. So it's a track that definitely fits me good.
Definitely. Well, congratulations, Alfred, on a good result today. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we say goodbye?
Well, I would like to thank all my partners at home. I know some of them are watching now, and I want to thank them for keep believing in me and keep staying with me when the real life situation is as it is right now. So thank you to all my partners.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Alfred, and best of luck next week.
Thank you.
So Alfred Nilsson right there, and obviously very pleased with the top 5 and very obviously enjoying his time out. Now, next up, I think we can grab our race winner, Sasha Fenestras. Sasha, welcome to the comments box. A pole to the win. I mean, can it get more perfect?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good evening, everyone. I think it was a good race. I'm a bit unfortunate with the first race with my teammate Martin Kodrick. A bit of a netco, but overall, I think it was a good race. Pole to win, it always feels nice.
Yeah, so obviously Barber, very, very different track to Spa. Did you enjoy the challenge of the circuit?
Yeah, it's very challenging. I mean, qualifying here it's key. It's very important. So yeah, of course we were trying to get it right on quali. But yeah, the track is very nice. A lot of blind corners, which makes it very tricky. So of course it's a complete different track to Spa. So it's different racing. So it's not a lot of racing, but the track itself is very tough.
Yeah, so of course we're all kind of stuck inside now thanks to the quarantine. Apart from sim racing, have you been doing anything else to pass the time?
Not a lot. Let's say quite a lot of simulator, a bit of physical training. I'm back to the simulator and then repeat the same thing. So yeah, just try to stay home and yeah, hopefully everyone is staying home and staying safe. Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. I'll pass you on to Sam.
Yeah, I mean, were you under much pressure in that race? Ibrahim's shown himself as a tricky customer. You couldn't afford to make a mistake, and you didn't make a mistake, seemingly.
Yeah, I was kind of a lot. The sim racing for me, it's a lot of pressure. It's like way more than real life, really. So I was kind of trying to make it clean. But yeah, of course, I had the pressure from the guy behind the number 36. So yeah, it was the key to not make any mistake. He did a mistake, I think, on the first lap, up on the fast chicane, which made me a bit of a gap, and yeah, it took it a bit more easy. But of course, there was quite a lot of pressure, even more than I would say than real life.
So why is it more pressured than real life? Can you put your finger on it?
I don't know. It's same as Lando when we did another race last week. It's just like we're all super stressed. I don't know. It's like it's as important as real life. So I don't know why, but it's funny. It's funny how you can stress for even iRacing.
Absolutely. Well, it's fantastic that you are putting so much passion into it at the moment, Sasha. Congratulations on your race win today. Who would you like to give a shout out to before you say?
Well, of course to you guys and everyone who's organizing this event. I think it's a very cool event. Very good quality of drivers, good level, proper racing as well. So yeah, congrats to everyone. And yeah, hopefully to see you on the podium on the next race.
Absolutely. I'm sure we'll see you back there, Sasha. Congratulations on the race win today.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Brilliant. So Sasha Fenestras with an interesting point. It's more intense than real life.
I did not expect to hear that.
That's incredible. Yeah, really interesting stuff. So now we've 2 more waiting for us. We're going to grab top 10 finisher, Cian Donaldson, if we can. Cian Donaldson, welcome to the comms box. A top 10 finish in the feature race. Don't think anything to complain about there.
Yeah, no, I had quite a good race, I thought. Started 15th on the grid. Was very, very careful through the first couple of laps. Didn't take any chances because I didn't want to risk being out for the main race. And yeah, we started to pick up towards the end. Our pace did, and then yeah, top 10.
Yeah, good stuff. So obviously F3 car is very, very different to the MX-5 that you're used to. So how was it trying to adapt to the different driving style here?
It's very different. Oh, it was because in MX-5 we're usually used to sort of almost drifting the car around corners because we've got no downforce. And in these cars here with the high downforce, it was just I don't know, it's just a different type of driving style almost. Like it was a little bit on and off at first, but I feel like I adapted up decent-ish to it in the end here.
Yeah, and of course Barber as well, a very tricky circuit to learn. So how did you find the racing overall, considering how narrow of a circuit it is, how up and down it is?
I thought, well, from my point of view, because my main aim in the race is just to stay clean, do what I can, and then improve from the next race. So, sorry, what was the question again?
How did you find the racing overall, Barber in particular, considering how narrow and down the circuit is?
I thought it was a little dirty with some of the drivers, but for the ones around me, it was completely clean. Like, I don't think I made any contact other than on the formation lap.
Good stuff. I'll pass you on to Sam, see if he's got anything for you.
Yeah, home race coming up next week, Kian. Have you got any experience in real life around Silverstone?
Yeah, I made my racing debut there in October 2019 in the MX5 Championship, around the only around the international circuit, but yeah.
Well, yeah, it's certainly possibly experience which could help you out. And yeah, what are your aims for this championship? Is there any position in the championship that you really aspire to finish?
Well, with the quality of drivers in this championship, I'd like to finish in the top 10 because this is probably the most experienced driver quality I've ever driven against in sim and in real life. So just top 10 would be good.
Definitely. Well, with this 13th place finish, you're pretty much on course for that. I'm sure if you bang in that consistency. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank my parents and my sponsor called Chromatography Direct, and also Andy Prio Sports Management and iZone Driver Performance, along with Enzo for the championship, which he's been working very hard to create.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Kian, and best of luck at Silverstone next week.
Thank you.
Brilliant stuff. So that was Kian Donaldson. And finally, we've managed to grab the organizer of all of this, who Kian just thanked. So let's grab Enzo Mucci. Enzo, another great race in Barber. Obviously, you weren't involved too much in the top battle, of course, but are you enjoying yourself out there?
I think you just said it. You've gone from P1 to P in the top 10, and then you come down to little old me. It was a bit of a mess, guys, to be honest. I missed quali because we were trying to get Lando in, but he joined too late, so we couldn't get him in, which was a shame. So then I had a crash in race 1, and then, believe it or not, this is a driver coach speaking here, I crashed on the warm-up lap, so I did my wing in before we even started. So, yeah, not too good. I shouldn't have even turned up. I just said to the boys. It's not my shiniest moment, I don't think. How was it from your side, anyway? What was the race like?
Pretty close. I mean, Ibrahim and Finestras were pretty much inseparable. It was interesting to hear from Finestras saying that it's more pressure than real life sim racing is. He found it even more intense than actually driving a Super Formula, which was something. But just wanted to ask you, actually, obviously this championship was put together. What was the inspiration behind putting this whole championship together and bringing all these drivers from so many different forms of motorsport together?
Oh, me and Chris from WH Sports, who also helped this, along with Next Level Motorsport, we were just kind of like, well, we've got lots of drivers at home right now. Everybody's stuck at home. We need to make sure they're training. And mostly for me, what I coach is on the mental side. So I thought, right, let's just get a race together. And to be honest, guys, I was thinking if I can get 15 to 18 people, it'll be worth it. And then we can train them. And they're training themselves just being here and preparing for the next one. And then people signed up and they kept signing up and the names kept coming. So it's gone completely outside of what we thought was possible. And I just want to really thank all the drivers for turning up. It's our second event. I kind of messed up at the start because I give everyone open rein on their setup. So we had a bit of a stumble at the start today. But no, it was the inspiration was training. But then ADD have come along and Infinity and all these people have started to enter their drivers. So it's becoming a proper little battle now. So we just want to keep building it and give people something to look forward to and train on, obviously. Give them something to do in the isolation period, which hence the name, Isolation April. That's what it's all about. Let's keep them moving forward.
And have you been doing anything else to pass the time apart from obviously training for these races?
Yeah, we actually keep training the drivers. So their fitness guys give them fitness tests online. I think everything's online now. What we're going through right now has actually stepped up my industry and the fitness industry and the drivers on the e side. And now esports has all of a sudden gone to the forefront of the platform. So this is your time, guys. It's actually arrived. And so we're really excited about it. But really, I'll tell you what, most of my time is working with you at the moment. But yeah, coaching drivers on the e side, doing Zoom sessions and getting them prepared for this. And after this, we then do a mental assessment and see how they did. So we try and keep it as real as possible, and that keeps me busy.
Brilliant stuff. Pass you on to Sam Fitzpatrick there.
Yeah, and next up, Enzo, we're heading to Silverstone. I mean, what was the inspiration behind the track selection for this championship?
Just wanted tracks that kind of challenged guys and gave people from both sides of the Atlantic top circuits to drive at. So Silverstone's obviously an easy one. Spa's an easy one. This was a bit of a joker in terms of it's a challenge in a different way. And as you could see, it definitely was. The drivers were not that happy with me when I put this one in because it was I didn't give them the setup to use until today. So obviously they were using the other setups, the baselines, and it wasn't very good. So they only had from 2 o'clock today to learn the car as it was. But going forward, Road Atlanta and Road America, they're top circuits in America. And I know I just wanted a top car, which has got to be F3. I think you'll agree with that. And then really good drivers circuits. And I think hopefully that's what we've done.
And of course, once this is all over, and fingers crossed it'll be over relatively soon, this whole quarantine period, will sim racing become a more integral part to your driver coaching?
Absolutely. Yeah, we were watching them. We watch them as they're on the sim. They can send it to us. We can talk about their driving because even though some things are not completely relatable, a lot of things are. So if you see a driver who's crumbling in qualifying, should we say, mentally, then you can train them on that side. So yeah, it's definitely a tool that's we've been forced to upgrade, and everybody's been buying lots of equipment. So I think a few of the manufacturers for the wheels are a bit busy right now, and the rigs. Mate, it's really stepped up. And actually, we're going to do probably, it depends on what happens in the world, but we'll do a isolation May, and just carry it on basically. And we started e-racing leagues, so we're going to keep doing different leagues when, especially when like it's Christmas time and people are at home. So we're going to make it fun but serious.
Definitely. Really thanks for putting on this series, Enzo. We're absolutely loving broadcasting. I'm sure all the viewers are loving watching it as well. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we say goodbye?
Yeah, WH Sports, Chris, he's made this happen. You guys, obviously Lee Thompson, you've all streamed this and give it all the exposure it needs, and all the drivers and Next Level Motorsport, which is Chris Beck, he's been doing all the design for it, and Brandon Sieber. Everybody's been pulling their weight because we've got lots of time on our hands. But really, it's to the drivers, because if they didn't turn up, then what would we have? You'd just be watching me testing.
Definitely, which I'm sure would be entertaining in itself. But
Yeah.
it is a bit better with the other drivers. Yeah, so
Yeah,
right.
of course. So thanks to them, big time.
Yeah. So thanks for having a chat with us, Enzo, and see you Tuesday.
Thank you for everything, guys. Thank you.
Brilliant stuff. So Enzo obviously really enjoying his time here. So we head to Silverstone next week. So obviously a very different, a completely polar opposite to what we just had today. Very open, and obviously it depends on the layout we use. But I would imagine that we're using the international layout. But yeah, Sam, who do you think was your driver of the day for today?
Oh, I can't go for the race winner again, can I? I did that last time. That would be all a bit dull. How you think? No, I think he's done really well. I'm always a big fan of a driver who gets consistency, and Harry in these past 2 races has been Mr. Consistency. I swear he's not been involved in an instant. Good defending as well. Had to defend for a while at Spa. Also defended a while today as well against Conrad. So congrats to him, but also Finestrius as well. I think he drove a faultless final in particular. Even Ibrahim made mistakes in second place, and he was the one catching. Usually that's the easier position to be. Finestrius with all the pressure, as I was saying, he was feeling the pressure, and yet he made absolutely no mistakes, barely missed an apex for the entire event. So congratulations to him as well.
Yeah, I'd probably have to go. My pick would actually probably be Bart Horston if it picked up kind of an unlikely podium there. I think that was a good job from Bart, and obviously Finestra's was totally untouchable, so it'd be stupid to leave him out of it. But yeah, it's been a great race here at Barber. Of course, it's so narrow and it's so tight and twisty that the fact that we even got a race like that out of it was really, really nice. So we head to Silverstone, which will have hopefully so much more action, and the slipstream is going to be such a big part of it. But yeah, that's all from us here at Apex Racing TV for the Isolation April F3 Championship. We head very shortly, of course, to Silverstone on. I think it's very sure. I hope I'm not mixing my days up, but I think we're on next Tuesday, I believe, Sam.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, I'm not getting my days brilliant. So Tuesday, and so next week at the exact same time as today, 7:30 British time, we will get underway for Silverstone, and we'll see who is going to win the next race. 2 different winners in 2 different races. So it's all looking really, really good for that. But Ramiz Azam now has lost the championship lead. It's now Mohammed Ibrahim's. And we head to the Silverstone on Tuesday. So we hope you join us then on Apex Racing TV. Thanks to Sam Fitzpatrick for joining me. Thanks to Alex Simpson for working so hard on the cameras in the background. And we will see you on Tuesday at 7:30 British time. Thank you and good night.